Yeah, so when I came to G4S, the guys that are my right and left hand now would be Graham Breslin's my operations manager and Jackie Little, who's the head of business support. Them guys were here, and to be honest, it's always that old saying of if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Them guys.
Right, Curtis, thank you so much for doing this and allowing us to come to your great facility here in Belfast. Can you kick us off? Tell us about you, your role, and about the SOC and your team.
No problem, Marie. Thank you for coming. So my name's Curtis McClements. I'm the head of monitoring for UK and Ireland for G4S. So you're in our SOC today in Belfast. So I've been here 8-9 years now. I came to G4S from a totally different industry. It wasn't in security at all before this. I went through different companies over my time. I worked in the teleperformance before I came to G4S for 5 or 6 years, supporting different clients from anything from top-up TV to NatWest to the passport service. So I'd been around a different number of areas. Came to G4S as the operations manager for the SOC. It was the ARC then, that it was known as the ARC, and it was based here in the same place in Belfast. So that was about 8-9 years ago. Started as the ops manager, and that was UK only. As I progressed through my time, then that became where we incorporated Ireland within our business. So we had a ARC in Ireland and Dublin. We combined the two to make it one centre of excellence based in Belfast, and I became the head of monitoring for UK and Ireland. That's about 4 years ago, maybe 4.5 years ago now. I was trying to remember the timings of it all. So they combined it, brought it all here into our SOC, and then at the start of this year, it started in the middle of last year, but we converted from an ARC to a SOC at the start of this year, officially. So that's just went from an alarm receiving centre to a security operations centre, a purposeful change that we made to make a step in the direction that we want to as a company, as part of G4S, to move into the monitoring element in terms of supporting customers from cradle to grave, as we call it. So that was a change here. For myself, it's been obviously 9 years. It's been quite a long time. Different changes, different scenarios. UK started only, bringing Ireland on board, and having my remit over Ireland was an interesting element to it. But from coming from outside of security to go into the security world was definitely an eye opener. And I think for G4S at the time, and as we progress now as a business, it's something that we look at to try and see if we can get different perspectives on how the security world can work. And when you bring someone in from external, I think you find that it does give you sort of different views and perspectives on how to progress and how to amend and adjust what we're doing to best support our customers. So I enjoy the security element of it now. I love monitoring. It's sort of become a passion of mine, obviously, which helps whenever it's the role you're in. And as we've sort of changed this year to go to that SOC, it's definitely helped me in terms of what I want to see for the G4S SOC, because we are moving from wanting to be reactive to proactive as much as possible. And that's what we've aim has been from this change at the start of the year. So, and it's helped me develop in terms of my role, develop in terms of my accessibility to different areas with G4S. So G4S is a massive company. We cover, guarding, PNR, all the elements, K9 and everything that we do, and it's allowed me to gain that experience of touching into these different areas within G4S and then bringing them in as a service that we can then provide to our customers. So it's been exciting and it's been fun. But not without its challenges as well, obviously. So yeah, but no, that's a wee bit of background about me and where I came from and where I've got to now.
And you did say what the acronyms were for SOC and
Yes.
ARC and thing, but more so just thinking about the key differentiators. You touched on it slightly when you were talking more about proactive measures, but what would you say are really the key standouts between an ARC and a SOC in terms of what you have here?
Yeah, so what we looked at, and different people in the security industry call them all different things. There's GSOCs, there's SOCs, there's SECs. They can be all different names. We were an ARC, which was the Alarm Receiving Centre, which would be your standard, understandable, it's a very important place in the industry of receiving an alarm, passing it out to the customer, saying we've received an alarm, and they would go and then take whatever action, whatever key holder that might be, or you're passing it to the police, or whatever emergency services, then they will go and deal with it. What we've done as a SOC then, and the reason we've done that change is because we're looking at delivering that, as I say, cradle to grave service, and how we would describe that is, if you have a broken window on your site, we would get an alert that the window's been broken. We would take the action to call whoever it might be in terms of we need K9 to protect the site, we need to get engineers out to fix whatever it might be that's broken, we need someone to come out and fix the window. So we take all of them actions, stand the site down, so we allow the people in to get it fixed, we watch the site while that's being done, that's fixed, they leave, we stand the site back up, fully secured again, and then all we would do is, rather than contact you at 3 in the morning and say you had a broken window, can you go and fix it, we would have that done, and you get a report in the morning. Whoever, you being the customer, comes in, opens up their emails, all right, our window was broke last night at 3 a.m. Nothing occurred in terms of any other damage to the site or anybody breaking in, but what's happened is G4S have now contacted all the parties that need to be done. It's completely fixed, and now we're back operational without any disturbance to their site, their operation, whatever the customer might be doing.
The complete end-to-end.
Exactly, it's that end-to-end solution that we're providing for customers now, whereby that allows them to really just go, you're the security expert, please do it for us, rather than you're the security expert, let us know when something happens, and then we'll have to contact someone else, or we'll have to take the next step, or we'll have to come out of our house at 3 in the morning, or we need to, and there's all the other elements to it of attending the site at 3 in the morning. Can they go on their own? Who do they need to go with them? We take all that away and we do it all for them. And it's 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon, doesn't matter. But obviously the ones in the middle of the night are the ones that customers would be going, that a bit more complexity to it. So it does that end-to-end service and allows us to take that pain point away from all of our customers that we're doing it for.
And not just taking the pain point, but there's obviously an element of trust there, right? You say like that example that you gave, while they're sleeping, the whole thing's actually taken care of, ready for them for the next day.
100%, and that's the point where we have them conversations with the customer and say, what do you need? What is it you require? And they are letting us know, and we're explaining, well, we'll do this for you. We'd take away any of that and trust us to be able to do that. And that's for us to then ensure that we're delivering that service. And these guys, my team, are incredible in what they do, not only the operators and the work that they do out there, but the business support team, and backing that all up in terms of, it's all well and good, these guys doing their actions in terms of, I keep pointing out here as the SOC, these guys, the operators and the team leaders and the operations manager, they do their part, and then it needs to be the business support here providing that detail and the information. If we're not providing that as well, then customers go, well, what's happened, why did it happen? The business support team that I have are brilliant at then going, right, this is what happened, this is when it occurred, and a full breakdown. Some people say it could be too much, but it gives you minute, this is the actions we took. But what it does is it allows the customer to either go, I can go through that at each stage and know what happened, or I can look at the end result and go, right, that's fixed now, it's fine. And each customer is different, but as long as you're giving them that option of whatever they want, then they can trust that you're doing what you're asked and ensuring that their site's safe. That's the reality of what everyone wants.
No, there's a true partnership there, isn't there, between them and yourselves. So you quite neatly started to talk about your wider team.
Yeah.
It was something that really stood out to me when we first met, which is actually partly what led on to us doing this today, and thank you for allowing us to come here again. And we will obviously be doing some other segments today as well with your wider team to learn about them. So I'd like to kind of double click into that a little bit more. And I'm glad that you're smiling, because again, double click it. So you talk highly of them. You spoke highly of them then. I know you talk about left hand and right hand and who does what and thing. I'd just love to hear in your words, how you have created, and obviously with them, this great environment to work in, and the impact of the individual. So I'm super passionate about, and I know you are too, the people.
Yeah.
Everyone does have a really important role to play, but a fun environment is usually a productive one, and so we'd just love to get your take on that.
Yeah, so when I came to G4S, the guys that are my right and left hand now would be Graham Breslin's my operations manager, and Jackie Little, who's the head of business support. Them guys were here, and to be honest, it's always that old saying of, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. Them guys know more about the security industry than I know. They know more. Jackie will be able to tell you more about every account we have than I will know, because she does it day and daily. She is in the nitty gritty of knowing the information. Graham will be able to tell you all about the types of alarms we're getting through, why we're getting them through, what impact it's having, what's happening on the operators. They know this stuff inside out, and without them, I don't work, because they are my right and left hand. They're running the day to day. They're staying in contact with the customers. They're staying on top of making sure alarms are handled the right way. We are very regulated in this industry, which is 100% the way it should be. Graham runs all that side of it, ensuring that we make sure we're achieving the KPIs, ensuring that we are adhering to the regulations within the accreditations that we need to. And then Jackie's there to make sure that customer side to it as well is really managed to super efficiency, whereby the customers know exactly what's happening. As I said, you can get an operation which performs really well, but the perception could be that they're not doing what they should be because the other side of it isn't being done, and that's always key for me, is that business support side. And Jackie is unbelievable at that, making sure the customer knows what's happening, making sure if there's any impact, any change, anything that's going on, they are aware of it and why it's happening and what we're doing. And really just doing it, as you said, they're collaborative with the customer. There's no point in us, having this lovely team and everything that we do without the customer actually buying into it. Jackie gets the customer to buy in because she'll have the conversations with them. She'll tell them what's going on, and she's maybe a Northern Ireland thing that we say. She's brutally honest. And whilst that can be, a lot of people sort of, in business kind of panic about that. I'd rather, as I always say to them, be honest. Tell the customer what's going on. Tell them what's happening. They will then, like you mentioned, the trust. They'll then trust and understand, right, okay, this has happened, this is why it's happened, they'll ensure that doesn't happen again, they'll ensure that's, whatever's going on in the future is going to be sorted. So it's about that trust and building that relationship, and Jackie's brilliant at it. And then Graham with his team, and the team leaders that report into Graham and the operations manager. Graham's been here, they've both been here longer than me, so they know it. And Graham, he came through as a team leader and worked his way up. He's now the operations manager, the team leaders report into him. And he gets exactly everything that's going on in the operation. He knows what's going on in terms of what alarms coming through, how it should be managed, how it shouldn't be managed. All of the information that he has and knowledge that he then shares with team leaders, it's second to none. These guys really know their roles better than anyone, I would say, anyway, in this industry. That's my bias obviously coming through. But I couldn't do this role without them two being there. So, they're a massive, intricate part of what G4S do in the SOC. And they will continue to be that way, and they'll keep developing, they keep adding their skills, keep adding their knowledge as the new technologies come in, the new CCTV towers, the AI, all of this that comes and challenges everyone. These guys are on it, they're at the forefront, they're learning it, they know it before I know it, they know it before anyone else, and they're able to come and say, oh well, this will work better, or that'll work better, or this is how you change that to make sure it suits on our operations, and ensuring our SOPs are met, all of these things that tie that all together, all of the wee bits that lots of people won't see. These guys are there, and they are doing it to make sure that it shows to our customer that we're ahead and are able to make sure they're getting the service that they deserve.
No, I love that you speak highly of them, and I know we're going to get to meet them and a couple of other team in the SOC as well today, on the other segments of podcasts that people will be able to listen to and watch, because this is a special video edition as well. But to maybe finish us off on this segment, who's Curtis? Tell us about you.
So I
what's
guess
the crack?
What's the crack? There's different levels to me. I suppose there are different hats, as I would say. So obviously in work, as I went through where I came from and how I got here, through the management process, done degree and stuff. I was in teleperformance, got the management degree, and learned all that side of the world that you need to learn to be able to step into management roles and progress your way up. So that's the business side and the G4S front and side of what I do for the company. Me as a person, I'm a father of 3 kids, 3 girls, 1 6-year-old who keeps me on my toes still. The other 2 are much older, and believe it or not, 2 grandkids. I know I don't look old enough. But and they're all brilliant. And then the other part of me that I was telling you about earlier is my football side. So big into football. I'm still play, even though I've retired 3 times. So still do that. So if you see me on a Saturday on a football pitch, don't judge. So I mean, that's my life in terms of, I coached my youngest child in football, lived out in the sticks, as people call it, down outside Portferry. So you'll find me, if I'm not working, I'm on a football pitch, or I'm coaching my kids,
or a golf course,
or a golf course party. I'm not very good at golf. Not very good at golf, but you'll notice me from a bag. So as you'll see, I like the video element because I like to look good. But
do you match the bag then?
The bag's big, colourful, pink and blue and green, and it's just to stand out a wee bit and do that. But that's me, I suppose. So my family and the sport really. If you ask my wife, she'd probably say it's football first, but it's family first, and then the football comes next. So. And
a fun fact, we don't have to mention it on here. You told me about your own podcast, but maybe that's something people can talk to you about one-to-one. Any other fun fact or any random thing about you that people might not know that you're happy to share?
I always, whenever I'm asked about fun fact, is when I was 16, I won BBC Young Sports Reporter of the Year award.
Ooh.
So yeah, I was an aspiring commentator or sports journalist whenever I was young. So I used to write my own pieces, and I used to work for a paper years ago now, so I was 17, so that is quite a long time ago now. Doing sports reporting and stuff, and I submitted a comedy and won, so I was, I like that fact. That was good. I enjoyed it whenever I did that, but didn't quite work out, so then I went a different direction whenever I got a bit older, so.
Well,
yeah.
that's a great fun fact, and not surprising, because as we joked about as well, the Northern Irish people are great with their words, great talkers. I've made it very well known to my peers in the industry as well, living over here in Northern Ireland, love the culture. So it's great for me to be able to, 20 minutes down the road, and be able to come to this facility, which is fantastic as well. Well, look, we're going to be talking in another segment to go through things in a little bit deeper detail in terms of trends and other things, but you've really helped set the scene. We're obviously going to meet some of the other teams now, so we'll wrap up this particular segment. Thank you so much. Look forward to speaking to the team.
Perfect. Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.